This is a CBC podcast.
You know what's crazy? Not using smarter tools to manage a small business. You work too hard to work this hard. Collecting receipts? Is this the 80s? Are you making a call from a payphone later? Spreadsheets? Are you rocking a radical perm right now?
QuickBooks gives you a smarter set of business tools that do all the hard work for you.
It's easier than rewinding a VHS before returning it.
You earned it. We're here to make sure you get it. QuickBooks, backing you.
Hey Canada, we're lighting up the big smoke from Toronto, Ontario. It's the Debaters! The Debaters, where comedians fight with facts and funny, and this audience picks the winner. Now here's a man who's totally unfiltered, Steve Patterson.
Hey! Hello, Canada! Welcome back to the Debaters. Great to be back here in Toronto, the capital of Ontario, where Premier Doug Ford has given this province the slogan, "Open for Business," which he presumably got off a sign he stole from Honest Ed's before it closed. I guess it was that or another Honest Ed slogan, like, "In Ontario, only the premiers are crooked." Though that one would have actually been honest. At least he didn't steal Sam the Record Man's old slogan, "I said it, I did it," because with our current sex ed curriculum, no one knows what it is anymore. Anyway, I think we got two debaters who are ready to go at it. Let's bring them out, shall we? With this comic, we're always saved by the Belleville. It's Ryan Belleville. Ryan Belleville, there he is, looking smart as always as he takes his place to my right. And this comic is a hunter-gatherer of jokes. It's Hunter Collins. Yeah! Hunter Collins, completely decked out in Pittsburgh Penguins wear, wearing a jersey and a full Pittsburgh Penguins flag, and he is already angry at the audience, and they don't even know why.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, this topic is either good or maybe fatal here in Toronto. Your beloved Toronto Maple Leafs. Are they the best at being the worst franchise in the NHL? Woo! Woo! That's right. That's where we're going. We here at the Debaters are not afraid to take on the Toronto Maple Leafs in their own backyard, just like we weren't afraid to badmouth flatness in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, or kissing fish in St. John's, Newfoundland, or why boredom is actually really good in Barrie, Ontario. So, whereas the team is rich and some say the fans are maybe a little obnoxious, be it resolved the Toronto Maple Leafs are the worst franchise in hockey. Hunter, you are bravely arguing for this. You have 2 minutes starting now.
For innumerable reasons, the Toronto Maple Leafs are the worst franchise in hockey. First of all, Toronto Stanley Cup parades are so boring. You guys remember the last one, right? Oh, wait, nobody here's 190 years old. Then again, this is CBC Radio. Maybe we do have some tortoise-aged listeners out there. I remember when instead of a puck, we used the jaw of an Irishman. The only way the Leafs are touching a cup again is if they get itchy from the clap. But don't worry, they'd have to score to get the clap. Yeah. Boo all you want, you Hogtown sweat hogs all across the country. People are fist pumping to the max. Sure, the NHL might have some redundantly named hockey franchises, especially here in Canada, like the Vancouver Canucks and the Montreal Canadiens. We get it. But the Toronto Maple Leafs is too Canadian of a team name. That's like naming your team the Toronto Maple. How's you going there, bud? Moto Master, Littlest Hobo, Rick Mercer, Strombolopolis. And the Toronto Maple Leaf logo is blue. If you ever see a blue maple leaf in your real life, you're either on peyote or in another dimension. If it's the latter, have a look around. Maybe in this dimension, the Leafs don't blow 3-goal Game 7 leads to the Bruins. And if you're too young to remember that game, don't worry. Neither does your toddler general manager, Kyle Dubas. You know how I know Kyle Dubas as a child? His name is Kyle. A good GM name is Doug or Mark or Craig. Kyle sounds like an air cadet trying to sell me chocolate almonds outside the liquor store.
Hunter Collins taking a position that the Toronto Maple Leafs are the worst franchise in the NHL. Thank you, Hunter. Now, to tell us why the Leafs don't blow, here's Leaf-loving Ryan Belville.
Sure, it might be crazy to love the Leafs, but that's how we roll in Toronto. It's probably crazy to elect a crack-smoking mayor, but we did that too. We're from Toronto. We don't care what you think of us. We fly too close to the sun. Hunter can't be trusted, not just because he has the name of a drug dealer from Degrassi, but because he's a Penguins fan. Oh. Do you also love the Yankees? I happen to like an underdog. I think that's the most Canadian thing that you can have, rooting for an underdog. But Hunter here, he's the kind of guy who reads about the little engine that could, and he cheers for the hill. Now, it's not my job to convince you that the Leafs are the best team. Not all of you are going to think that they're the best franchise. My only job is to convince you that they're not the worst. That's pretty easy. The Ottawa Senators? Are you kidding me? They would literally be a better team if it was actual Canadian Senators playing. Just a bunch of out-of-touch 80-year-old politicians shuffling about the ice and wheezing. Carolina Hurricanes? Do you know how many people in Carolina have had their homes destroyed by hurricanes? And they have to go to an arena and hear about the worst thing that ever happened in their city? Nobody wants to go to a hockey game for the Ottawa Ice Storms or the Halifax Explosions or the Vancouver Chinese investment in real estates. And you know what Toronto does? We handle loss well. When we lose Vancouver, you know what we don't do? We don't riot. If we rioted every time the Leafs lost, I mean, this city would be burned to the ground. No matter how much you fail at your life, you're like, that's my team. We include everybody into our masses of fandom. And that's what I believe in. I believe in inclusion and a beautiful maple leaf, the symbol of Canada. Unlike Hunter, who hates Canada. And inclusion. Thank you very much.
Ryan Belville. Woo! With a very strong opening argument on behalf of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and he brings up an excellent point. He's not saying they're the best franchise, just that they're not the worst. It is time now for the bare knuckle round, which in this debate could be literal. We are debating the epic awfulness of the Toronto Maple Leafs franchise, meaning this is no time to get Babcocky. Your opponent is going to rile this crowd up. So Nylander some punches on that son of a Mitch. Because I only trust you guys to far as I can throw you. If you felt that was offside, please don't Sittler this one out. To quote a psalming from the book of Matthew, the Howie Meeker shall inherit the earth. All right, enough's enough.
I'm sorry. Is your biggest problem that in Toronto we just care too much?
I'm trying to punch up here by taking the Leafs down, okay? They are the richest franchise in Canada. They're worth $1.45 billion or something like that, which is like $1 per child they've instilled with a permanent notion of existential futility. Their mascot is a polar bear, too, I'd like to point out. The Leafs mascot is a polar bear, which is about as Torontonian as affordable rent and courteous public transit operators.
Okay, all right.
Ryan, how do you respond to that?
This from the guy with a penguin on his shirt. When's the last time you saw a penguin walking around Pittsburgh? They don't have them because they shot them all because they're Americans. Get out of here, flightless bird.
Okay, that's a good time to end the bare knuckle round, I think. It is time now for the firing line. In my hand, I have a list of questions on the Maple Leafs being the worst franchise in the NHL, brought to you by the best franchise in the NHL, the makers of foam fingers. Even though our sales are in single digits, we're always number one. In 2015, Toronto fans showed their displeasure with the team by doing what? Oh, Ryan?
They threw away their Leafs tickets to go get disappointed by the Raps for a while.
Oh, don't bring the Raptors
Too
into
soon.
this. Yeah.
Too soon. The Blue Jays? Which one do you want to go with?
Let's just stay on topic. Did you have an answer to that, Hunter?
Oh, no, that was like a squeak of dismay.
Well, squeak of dismay. Also coming to CBC this fall. No, in 2015, Toronto fans showed their displeasure with the team by throwing their jerseys onto the ice, which is really saying something because those jerseys aren't cheap. Where have the Leafs visited every year since the 1920s as community service?
Oh,
Hunter.
Conservative Party headquarters? Yeah, because they want to lift the party member spirits by showing them that there's still a bigger bunch of blue and white losers out there.
One for the answer, one for the celebration. Ryan Belville.
I was just going to say detox.
No, every year since the 1920s, the Leafs have visited Sick Kids Hospital. And that's the firing line, everybody. Yeah. It is just about that magical time here at Danforth Music Hall where our theater audience picks the winner. But first, here again to tell us that Toronto the Good has a good hockey team. It's Rock'em Sock'em, Ryan Belville.
Thank you. True spirit is soldiering on in the face of failure, in defiance of God's will. We've all tripped for no good reason while you're just walking along the street, poked yourself in the eye while drinking a soda, eaten too much Mexican food, and then had a poorly timed sneeze. Or as I call it, pulling a Crosby. So when you're sitting there feeling like a failure, just say those 3 words that make you feel better. Go, Leafs, go. Go, Leafs, go. Go, Leafs, go.
Ryan's got him chanting. Ryan has just removed his shirt. He's just taken his shirt off, and he has Go, Leafs, go written on his chest. Ryan Belville, everybody. Literally giving the shirt off his back for this debate, and he remains shirtless for a reason known only to him to my right. Now, here again to tell us that the Toronto Maple Leafs leave a lot to be desired, it's more hockey hilarity from tonight's villain, Hunter Collins.
When the Montreal Canadiens score a goal at home, you hear the sound of 20,000 fans roaring, accompanied by a choir of the ghosts of 24 championships echoing through the rafters. When you're at the Scotiabank Corporate Dome, or whatever it's called now, and the Leafs score a goal, you hear the sound of 20,000 businessmen checking their LinkedIn accounts. You have the only arena where the people in the stands are richer than the people on the ice. Live hockey is supposed to be for kids and deadbeat losers like me. Not millionaires figuring out how to annihilate the middle class. That's what tennis is for. Bottom line, Toronto. You're lucky you have the Leafs. Their boring play will always take the heat off the most boring segment of your population, Torontonians.
Hunter Collins is goading the crowd. Ryan is giving him 2 thumbs down. It is up to you to pick a winner before Ryan dies of hypothermia. By applause, who thinks that Hunter's Leaf dissin made you sit up and listen? Hunter Collins. Some big support. Big support for Hunter and quite a few boos. And who thinks Ryan's Leafs defense was forward-thinking? Ryan Belville. The crowd has spoken. I'm sorry, Hunter. The Leafs are not the worst franchise in hockey. The winter's Ryan Belville. Big hand for Ryan Belville and Hunter Collins, everybody.
You're listening to The Debaters on CBC Radio. Did you know you can get past episodes of The Debaters on iTunes? Go to cbc.ca/The Debaters to find out how. And now, back to Steve Patterson.
Hey, Toronto, are you ready to meet your next pair of debaters? This comic will zock it to you. Welcome, Carol Zoccoli. Carol Zoccoli, bounding onto the stage, shaking my hand like the respectful person she is. Welcome, Carol. And this comic excels at golf, and the proof is in the putting. It's Dave Hemstad. Dave Hemstad, one of our favorites, taking his spot to my right. Good topic, you two. Your topic is long-term relationships. Once you're in one, can you let yourself go? About time we figured this out. Like many of you here, the longest-term relationship I've had is with my cell phone company. And boy, have they let themselves go. At first, they were a great provider, and we carefully stuck to a budget and were completely open with each other about our personal finances. Nowadays, I feel like I'm open with how I feel, whereas they have been, well, phoning it in. Anyway, we've got a great debate on the line here. So, whereas long-term relationships are meant to be comfortable, be it resolved that once you're in one, it's okay to let yourself go. Carol, you arguing for this, please? You have 2 minutes. Starting now.
Steve, Dave, audience, I am from Brazil. I've seen poverty, violence, hardship, but nothing makes me sadder than seeing an old lady jogging. Because we all want to let ourselves go, but it's sad to do it alone. That's why monogamy, rule number 1 is we're giving up together. No one gets married to be more beautiful. The last day you'll be beautiful is the wedding day. That's why the families spend so much money on photographers. Now I'll tell you a little sad story to make my point. My husband is working out. And he told me, Carol, you can also change your life. I didn't get married to change my life. I got married to have one of those vagina bellies. Sorry about my English. I am trying to make this relationship work, but it doesn't. Because we go to a restaurant to have a romantic dinner. He orders a salad, which makes my fries taste like a punch in my face. And my dessert tastes like I was forever forgotten by God. And my second dessert tastes so guilty. And my takeout dessert tastes like everyone knows that I pee in the shower. Thank you.
Carol Zockley on why we should let ourselves go in long-term relationships. Now, to tell us why you should keep yourself looking great for your mate, it's the all-spoken for Dave Hemstad.
Thank you. What you're talking about, Carol, is called the bait and switch. It's a marketing ploy, and it's illegal. Just because you've already made a sandwich doesn't mean you get to stop fishing. I'm not really good with metaphors. I don't know. What's a more common refrain? Sure, sweetie, I don't care what you look like as long as you're happy. Or, you're not wearing that, are you? Oh, yeah, next time her family comes over, why don't I just put on a tank top and a pair of sweatpants? Yeah, don't worry about the stains. That's just ranch dressing. It's fine. We're going to be together no matter what. She doesn't want to give me half her stuff. Let me tell you something about my beloved. If one, just one, of my eyebrow hairs dares wander out of its lane, well, guess who's getting assaulted by a madwoman with a pair of teeny tiny scissors? If my breath smells in the morning, I'm signed up for a whole new pre-bed routine, which I have to pass before I pull back the covers. Did you floss? Show me. Yes, there are many shades of neglect in the rainbow of our lives. You got to keep a lid on it. As the old saying goes, just because you're getting the milk for free doesn't mean you get to turn into a cow. Thank you, Steve.
Dave Hemstad, ladies and gentlemen. Dave Hemstad. Time now for the firing line. In my hand, I have a list of questions on letting yourself go in long-term relationships, brought to you by the go-to romantic meal that's made by long-term husbands, Sloppy Joes. Finish this slogan by the Canadian fitness-loving couple Hal Johnson and Joanne McLeod, hosts of Body Break. Love Body Break. Keep fit and what? Dave?
I get it. Keep fit and keep the lawyers out of it.
It's got a ring to it. 1 point.
So keep fit and kill a fitness-loving couple.
Always with the death, Carol. I think quite a few people here know it. It's keep fit and have fun. My God, Body Break. Look at this. It's a nice shout out for Body Break.
That's impossible. That's not possible.
They're not supposed to be mutually exclusive, Carol. When studying happiness in heterosexual relationships, some researchers have found that the man is usually more happy if he views the woman as what? Carol.
Dead. Yeah, you man.
No, it's not dead, Carol.
I don't know what you're looking for in a partner here, Carol. What was the question?
Some researchers have found the man is usually more happy if he views the woman as what?
Oh, I don't know, Steve. I couldn't be more happy.
Oh, there's a smart man. A man is usually more happy if he views the woman as more attractive than he is. Let's be honest, most women are more attractive than most men. That's the firing line, everybody.
Yeah.
All right, just about time for our Danforth Music Hall Theatre audience to pick a winner. But first, here again to tell us why in your relationships you shouldn't be like Frozen and just let it go. It's the fit and funny Dave Hemstad.
Thank you. Thank you. Look, monogamy can be a drag. Hopefully, you've found the love of your life. In which case, be worthy. And if it's not meant to be, maintain some shelf appeal. You know? You're going back on the market. Have some value. Come on. Look, other people finding you attractive, that's the bind that ties. And if the neighbor's grass is greener, you better stay leaner. I got all these. Show some respect to your partner, their family, and your kids by not turning into a snuggie-wrapped, gravy-soaked Jell-O drumstick. Remember, you're only a beauty if she can still behold you. Thank you.
Wow, Dave Hemstad. Some very thought-provoking words there, buddy. Thank you, Dave. Now, here again to tell us that in a relationship, keeping it tight just ain't right to her. It's more lovable laughs from Carol Zockley.
You may say that going to the gym make you healthier. What's the point of getting healthier in Canada? Healthcare is free. And who can handle those gym instructors motivating you? Hey, get off your butt. Married people don't need to pay to be yelled at. They have mother-in-laws to do that for free, okay? So you guys will choose what's best. Pay for a membership to fart in a yoga studio. Or spend nothing. Just sit with your loved one and couch fart together. Thank you.
Carol Zockley, everyone. Bringing it right down to a grassroots level. All right. By applause, who thinks that Carol's Let It Go guffaws got this one? Carol Zockley. Woo! It's big. Big response for Carol. And who thinks Dave's anti-Let It Go gumption was golden? Dave Hemstad. Well,
all right, well, you can all let yourselves go then, if that's how you feel about it.
We got to give this one to Carol Zockley. Go ahead and let yourself go. Big hand for Carol Zockley and Dave Hemstad, everybody. Well, that's all for this week. I'm Steve Patterson saying it's okay if you have to let yourself go. Just remember, it's also okay to let yourself come back. I'll argue with you again soon, Canada. Good night.
The Debaters, created by Richard Side. Produced this week by Graham Clark, Nicole Callender, Katie Ellen Humphreys, and Josh Bailey. Technical production by John McLean and Kyle Katasowicz. Executive producer of CBC Radio Comedy is Tracy Rideout. And thanks to everyone at the Danforth Music Hall in Toronto. Hey, Cape Breton, The Debaters is coming to you. We'll be at the Savoy Theatre in Glace Bay on June 25th. For details, visit our website. We're cbc.ca/thedebaters.
For more CBC podcasts, go to cbc.ca/podcasts.